Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube.
We trying to be on YouTube.
Thank you all that, witnessed
We are trying.
YouTube chat page. We're live on YouTube.
We trying to be live, y'all.
We're live on Facebook. We're live on TikTok.
Yeah.
All under Sipping and Spilling the Tea in KC.
Yeah.
Hope everybody had a good weekend.
Thank you all.
Welcome.
Does it flip?
It wouldn't let me.
What does it say?
Turn it back this way.
Oh, yeah. I can't do mine over here either.
Okay.
Can
All
you hear
right.
everybody?
I can hear everybody. Hey, y'all. I'm coming.
We are still celebrating Black History Month.
Oh, yes, we are. Yeah.
All right.
Because we are.
Black History.
Okay. Living it every day.
Every day.
All right, I'm just going. This is not first time. Hey. It's the first time. On YouTube, live. Okay. Hi. Hey, y'all. Hey, what y'all sipping on?
Hey.
Water.
I
got some tea.
You got tea?
Hot or cold?
Hot tea.
I'm fasting right now, but the fast will be broke in a few minutes.
Yes, it will.
Congratulations.
And we gonna help to break the fast.
Yes, they're gonna have iftar with us. Yes, they are. All right, nice. All right, so thank you everybody for your patience and for joining us. And I don't think I'm in the screen on YouTube, but that is fine. I can hear my big mouth, right? We'll get that figured out. But today, I did want to say that we have a guest as we finish talking about our history, our Black history, American history. And we're going to dive into some history of Kansas City. And our special guest is my honey, Jamal Shakur. Yes. So he's going to discuss hopefully some great historical facts from our city using a wonderful book from a local historian here, Sonny Gibson. So before we dive into all of that great information, well, I know we won't cover it all. I just want to pass the mic to Jamal. Maybe you want to reintroduce yourself, tell people what you do. Because I know you were on the show before, and I wasn't here, but I was calling and bugging everybody.
He said, right.
I'm honored to be here on two occasions here with Sipping and Spilling the Tea studio.
Hey, in the studio.
And also Black History Month as well. I'm very honored to be here. I hope that during this time, this particular month, we can continue to share histories about our city, not just nationwide. We are history as a group of people. Have been proven that first man was in the country or the continent of Africa. And so these have been facts that have been proven by DNA standards, and we're going to say that we're still here. So thank you, audience, and I hope that we can share some information here. Being here with Sipping and Spilling the Tea last week, they had a great guest last week, so the past weeks they've been having great guests.
Yeah.
So I'm honored to be amongst some of those great guests and hope that we can continue to grow and learn. So I wanted to share a quote by a particular person. His name is Sir Winston Churchill. He was a prime minister of UK, and one of his great quotes that when I first heard it, I thought it was very unique, and I said, man, I need to echo that and mention that every time we talk about history, because he says that history is going to be kind to the European because we're going to write it. And so I said, wow, that's a heck of a statement. So if we don't know, if we don't write, if we don't contain, if we don't carry on our history, then other people will for us. So this is an honor to be here and try to establish some history here that I've been part and seen in Kansas City. And like I said, I wanted to share some history out of a book that's called Kansas City's early Negro history, 1865. So I'm going to even read a little bit about the author. I believe this gentleman, I've talked to him throughout my life. He's still here. I spoke to him this week. I spoke to him just recently. Today, hopefully, he'll get a chance to call. He had some business to take care of. Hopefully, we'll have him on call and go over some of the things in this book here. So I'm going to read a little bit in this book so that I won't get beyond myself. But Mr. Sonny Gibson. Sonny Gibson is a lifelong resident of Kansas City, Missouri, and is recognized as a historian of Negro history. Mr. Gibson is an acclaimed chronicler of the life of black culture of the Negro community. So I'm going to, like I said, continue to share some things out of this book, and hopefully I'm going to promote his book as well. It is available, and he has another book as well. So one of the things that I work at right now at the Kansas City Health Department in the Violence Prevention Department of Behavioral Health. And so a few years ago, in health as being one of the things that we talked about, history, knowing your history is even healthy for a person. So we had an opportunity to talk about our history at the Kansas City Health Department, and as I say, learning about this history in Kansas City was a magnificent thing, because we were talking about the Tuskegee experiment. This is how we got to the historical aspect of this. And I asked this question today because this was something that I didn't know. When we talk about the Tuskegee experiment, what do we actually know when we hear about the Tuskegee experiment? Of course, we know that it's an experiment.
Yeah.
But what other things do we know about the experiment, and how it affected us?
It was on black men.
Black men.
Mhm.
Was it syphilis?
Yes, yes,
Syphilis.
yes. And it was an experiment on syphilis, but the experimentation was the fact that most people thought, and this came up through the COVID series, because people were hesitant in taking the vaccine, because the first thing most of the people would say, I don't want to take the vaccine because of what they did with the Tuskegee experiment.
Mm-hmm.
Rightfully so. And so in our circles, in our arenas and areas of learn, we were hesitant about even people talking about measles now come back. I don't want to take it because of the experiment of what has happened as us as a people. And you were right for thinking that. You had that right to say no or yes, but the thing is, yes.
Now that you even talked about that, even now there are a lot of people that don't want to have their children vaccinated too.
Right.
A lot of that because of what happened there.
And like I said, the misnomers, the rightfully to feel like that has put us in the situation because we don't trust people, certain people.
Right.
And this Tuskegee experiment was a reason why not to trust people that say that they have your best interest to look forward to, looking at. So the Tuskegee experiment was true in the nature of experimentation, but the reality of it is they didn't inject us with syphilis like most people think. Most people think they injected us with syphilis, and they didn't. The experiment was not to give us any cure and watch us and see what
It
was
was a
the
placebo that they were giving us.
exactly what was the effects of the syphilis. And the study went on until most of the people died. And they went and took the bodies different places, and they cut them open, ran tests on them, but they never was told that they were being cured. And so this was my hope and prayer that we would be able to give people health information during all times when we talking to people about our own selves, because a lot of times we're the last people to get the information. And so I was fortunate enough to work at the health department, and in the process of working at the health department, I had an opportunity to give a presentation during Black History Month. And so a number of us that were presenters got a presentation, got an award from Kansas City Hall about our presentation at the Assets meeting. We did some things for that. So one of the things that I learned about slavery is that when we talk about slavery, I wanted to talk particularly about slavery in Missouri. And as we know, Kansas City and Kansas have this border war. And this went on about slavery.
Yes.
And it's still some tension about that if you go to places. However, I did go on a tour. I went on a tour. They have a tour that you can ride a bus and ride through the slavery. And I hope I can give the information to you to pass on to people who are interested in making that tour.
Yeah.
You go on a charter bus and go through certain areas in Kansas City, Missouri, and it's about an hour and a half tour. But back to the slavery in Missouri, while I was working at the Kansas City Health Department, and if you even go up to the 4th floor, they have these banners with information about slavery here in an area in Kansas City that's located at 31st and 31st Street, going from Truce to Holmes, and then you can go south, and it's, north. North is the 23rd Street line. And so you'd be surprised that this area, there was a gentleman named James Porter, and Mr. Porter, he was a reverend who bought slaves from Arkansas. They said from 60 to 100 slaves, and that area is a 365-acre area, which the health department sits on. And so on that area, on that land, there was as y'all know, there was a Truce Lake, so that gave them the livelihood with the lake and the water. And so there was a plantation. He had orchards. There were several houses, and this area grew tremendously. And right now we see Beacon Hills is also part of that area. And so at one time, historically, they called this place, and they called it Millionaire's Row at one time. And you can go online and see this. And I thought that was so coincidental, because some of those houses now are almost $1 million now back.
Yeah, they are. They are.
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
Right.
That's where like a lot of doctors and lawyers and stuff, yeah.
And so even looking up history, I found out there were other plantations in Missouri. As we know, this is one of the reasons that Kansas and Missouri was fighting about the slavery.
And we know that we were the last
To
of the states, right?
free the slaves.
Mhm.
And so it was very lucrative and a profitable business to have slaves in Missouri. This is one of the reasons, as you said, there was fighting going on, because Missouri didn't want to let go of their property. And
Ooh.
this is
Look,
something.
I'm
This
sorry.
is tough. This is tough medicine to take, you know. But
Right
this
here.
is real, right here in our own backyard.
And when you said property,
Yeah.
that's the part that, but
So-
we know how that happened too. We were not considered humans, so I'm sorry. Go
No.
ahead.
This is what this
I
is
get
about.
a
This
little-
is comments that are necessary and needed, because we exchanging and sharing information. But Porter, who was a slave owner, if you go back and look, there's plots of land. This is a large piece of property that was, like I said, Truce Lake was there, and even when we look into the book here, we found out how north it went back, how north it spread to the 18th Divine area. And so in that growth and development, black people were coming to the 18th Street area, and this book does a great job of showing pictures. We'll go through some of the businesses that black people had. And so when we talk about, where was that when they bombed Tuskegee? No, not Tuskegee, Oklahoma. Was it Oklahoma? Kansas City had a booming business here as well. But they didn't bomb. They used strategic planning to treat the lead.
JC,
JC
that person.
to
I didn't want to say the name.
redlining, and I put it, and I mentioned it was redlining.
Mhm.
He's known as the father of redlining, and so where we wasn't allowed to go to certain parts of the city, and they kept us there, and the government kept us there, not giving us grants, not giving us funds, was keeping us there while they were giving people who were in the area, they were allowed to leave the area. So this is some very very important information, because 18th area was booming. It was a hub. Matter of fact, they called it the Black Mecca in Kansas City for especially live entertainment. All the live entertainment that was known in the United States used to come to the 18th Street area for jazz. Our musicians, our singers, our vocalists all came to the 18th Street area.
Can
So,
I ask a question? I'm sorry. I didn't
sure,
mean to-
no, go ahead.
Before we dive deep into your different facts for Kansas City, I just wonder, what made you, was it just because of the project, or have you always wanted to kind of study and learn?
Well,
more about history. I know we didn't get it taught, we weren't taught in our schools. We've talked about that a lot of time, but just wondering.
I read a lot. I had done a lot of reading and just bits and pieces of our history, and then how we were treated as a group of people. And so the facts coincide with how we were treated, where we stayed, how we were treated, how other people are able to get information about us, but we didn't have the information. Why it was important to keep us from reading and writing, all those different things, you know.
Because they say knowledge is power.
Exactly.
Once you know things, then you know things. And so that now they say, put it in the book, black people won't read.
But I beg to differ. The great thing about the internet nowadays is that, you know,
You don't
it
need to
makes
read
it
it.
makes it
You don't need to read it
You
down.
know, I coincided some of the history of this book with some of the things that I checked last year as a fact checker. And Millionaire's Row showed up. He had a picture of Millionaire's Row in his book. However, Millionaire's Row was where the plantation was started and built. There was a great big estate on Millionaire's Row on 28th and Truce. And this is where, when we studied the history about it, people like Standard Oil and Rockefeller were in Millionaire's Row. And it showed all the different areas how Truce became downtown was second to none. Truce was second to Truce because they had the money. Years ago they had the businesses all up and down Truce, but of course we seen what happened with the plight of unfortunately of our situation. So gentrification. Thank you. So this was great information to know about our city that most of us don't know or didn't know about. And if we do know it, we have to continue to talk about it so people can share. If you don't know where you've been, you don't know where you're going.
Yes.
So those are some of the things that we talked about. So I was hoping that Mr. Gibson was going to call me and talk to me about some of the things. So I had some of the things earmarked in the book here.
Can I say something before you get in there?
Yes.
Sometimes I always wondered about the house that I grew up in, because it was totally different from all the other houses. It was totally different. I mean, totally different from all the houses on my block. It wasn't made anything like those, and it was in the middle of the block, and it was the biggest house on the block. And sometimes it just made me wonder, was this the master's house? You know, because of the way it was made.
Right. Those are interesting questions. It depends on where you were at, and sometimes those questions are asked. There were certain groups in Kansas City and places in Kansas City that we know we didn't live in, or we didn't live at. So, and people in Kansas City had money. We know that people in Kansas City had money. So those are some of the things that we struggle with because of the gentrification and the redlining. You know, that's still, he was Nichols, J.C. Nichols. He was known throughout the United States to use his redlining situation to keep people in certain areas. And so, I don't know if you guys remember, but even as a young man, I couldn't go out to past a certain area, a truce. People would tell you can't go over there, or we at one time we couldn't go to Fairyland unless it was a weekend.
Once a year. That's
year.
what my mom and dad said too.
Yeah, so these are just unbelievable because we seem to take these things for granted now because you got a good automobile, you can go anywhere. You think, you believe. In some places in Missouri, they used to say you shouldn't be out after a certain time of night.
Right.
And this is some places down the south still today, down south today. But it's interesting to know. I wanted to just kind of, if anybody had something else while we were dealing with it.
I do. One more thing I wanted to mention. Today, when we think of redlining, we think of banks not providing you financial security to get a home. But I don't know if a lot of people know that J.C. Nichols had it in, was it the deed?
Yep.
He could know black people.
Yes.
You know,
Purchase
and some
and
people
resale.
don't know that, and that's why I don't care to go down to the plaza And even though he's dead, I just still have the mentality of, I don't wanna go anywhere I'm not wanted.
Yeah.
You know, I've never been gung-ho about the plaza, even though it's, when we was young, we used to hang down there.
Right. We wanted to go down
But
there.
at that time, I didn't know. I didn't know. So I just think that's interesting that some people don't know that redlining isn't just finances, getting money to buy a home. It's like what he did. He had it written in the deed, don't sell to no.
Yeah.
Right,
To black
right.
people,
That's, those are true facts. Those, we would think that that would be some third world country mentality, but this is here in the United States, that someone would actually put that in a piece of paper and inscribe it and make it like a constitution, that you cannot do this or you cannot do that, black people can't do this, can't do that, and they stood on that.
Yeah, and that's why I love Black History Month, even though we talk about Black history in every show, and we know it should be taught 365 days a year. And even with like today's show, I'm glad that you brought something that's gonna show so many great things, the contributions that we have contributed, because as you mentioned earlier, I forget the person you said, about the history. Because if we don't tell it, if we don't write it, it's the, like, you know, they've covered up so much stuff, they've taken from us and didn't give us credit. We know all of that has happened, so that's why I am glad you're here, because that's a thick book.
However, our
Yes.
history has been written, we have written it, they have erased it.
Okay, thank you. Yes.
And that was just as
Reworked
reworked
it,
it, or
reworked it,
changed
or
it,
taking credit
or,
for it.
you know, whitewashed it. So,
Mhm.
yeah, I mean, our history is written down, you just have to read between those lines, like, yeah, it's there.
They'll go as far as, you know, if they go as far as to Africa and blow the noses off those statues,
Well, we
then
know,
that
yeah.
tells you a lot. That tells you what they're
That
doing.
part.
Yeah.
So,
If in movies, they'll make all the Egyptians look a certain color,
yeah, yeah.
but, yeah.
And
Okay.
just recently, we had a judge to order them to put the paintings and everything back up.
Yeah,
So that was that was just this month.
yeah.
Another
No.
eraser.
A dude
Another
tried
eraser.
to take it all
He's
down,
like,
and
take
she
it all
said,
down,
no,
like-
put it back up.
Mhm.
And when she told him that, she made it clear, exactly like it was when you took it down. You're not trying to alter it or anything, she said, put it back up exactly like it was when you
Put it
took it down, put it back.
Yes.
And that was just this month,
Thank you.
in 2026.
Europe need to take all of their stuff they got in the museums
Mhm.
Yeah.
back to Africa.
Yeah.
Because none of that belongs to y'all.
No.
None of it.
Yeah, so, I
So,
think
yes.
one, just in some spot, Crystal and I, we had an opportunity to go to the Black Museum in DC.
Oh,
Oh,
my goodness.
oh, my
It
goodness.
is oh.
Whew,
Yeah, it's-
I just felt,
It's, you just cry.
you do,
Yeah.
You just cry.
everywhere, it's just so much.
There's no words.
There
It's just
are no, it was so overwhelming.
It is, it's very overwhelming. I had an opportunity to go there early, 2 months before they had completed it. And so, seeing the structure itself, it's just a feeling, the building itself, when you see the building itself, you know that it has that tone, that flavor, that whole aura of blackness in it. When you
Yes.
see, just when you see it from the outside. So, that's another thing that I hope that in the person's lifetime, get a chance to see that. And any of the other black archives, we have the black archives here
Yes.
in Kansas City as well. So we should get a chance to visit those places and find out a little bit more about our history as we continue to talk about this book here.
Can I interject one more thing?
Yeah, of
Since you
course.
mentioned the Black Archives, we're going there next month for an event, so maybe we can share something about it once we go.
Yeah.
Is that the Langston Hughes event?
I think so.
Okay, but we'll share. So remember, follow us on TikTok, on Facebook, YouTube. You can drop something in the chat, and you can call us, right?
816-237-8033.
Yes, chime in, call us, yes.
I really hope that sharing Mr. Gibson's book, I wanted him, and he may call, he had something that came up at the last minute, so he was ready to be online, and I told him, I gave him a few pages of something that we wanted to have him discuss, and as a historian, he probably would have did a better justice than I. However, the book is I can't give you anything,
Wow.
how much I could share, because the book is thick and rich with information in it. So I chose a few things in the book. He even has a letter from Mary Bethune, is that her name?
Mary
Bethune,
Bethune,
He
yes.
has a letter here and there from here. So I was impressed. I was so impressed as I was thumbing through the book. Matter of fact, I've had this book 3 times. I let people borrow it, and guess what? He says, don't let them borrow it.
No more.
And so he's right. So I'm gonna
So
have
they
to
can
let y'all
purchase
know.
their
Y'all
own.
can look.
We gotta stay
You
here
gotta
like
get
the
your
book.
own.
Contact
You
Jamal,
gotta get
so we
your-
can
or-
get you.
Or Mr. Gibson.
Yeah, you can get
I'll
your.
try to get it. So one of the stories that I think I asked him to talk about was, a guy named Homer B. Roberts. And this story is of the first African-American car dealer. And so I'm like, wow, really? And so he was gonna give me a better story about it because he actually did the story on it. But as I wanted to read a little bit about it, I won't read everything, but it even talked about he had colored workmen laying bricks for the new home of the Roberts Company, 19th and Vine Street. This was on 19th and Vine Street, so he actually had a dealership, and it says a native of Kansas City, Missouri, was awarded the Hump Mobile in 1923, the first African American to be appointed by the manufacturer. Subsequently, he was franchised by a Rickenbacker in 1925. This Mormon, 1926, and Whippet, these are all cars, 1927. He was also a distributor for Oldsmobile during the 1923-27 period.
1920.
Okay.
Look.
Okay.
He was the first African American to be awarded a new car franchise by any automotive manufacturer.
Wow, right here in Kansas City.
This is something that really puts chills on you because we have people who were always doing something great but didn't get the notoriety that we were supposed to. And this is why we have to continue to
So,
talk about our history.
was
right?
he the one that was outselling Ford?
You know,
And there is a guy, I can't remember his name, that was making cars, and he was outselling Ford.
Wow.
But what happened was, Ford came up with the assembly line. So he was able to manufacture cars faster than this black guy. That's why he went out of business.
Oh, wow.
Good question. I can't say perhaps Mr. Gibson could have told you that history because he told me he said, just call me and you tell me what page you on and I'll
Memorize.
Right, I know it's on that page.
So I was like, man.
Just a minute on that, I'm sorry, you said he was selling for Oldsmobile, or he was a franchise of Oldsmobile?
It said, let me see, he says a distributor for Oldsmobile
Wow.
during 1923 and 1927. And one of the things that I drew me to this because I work for automobile manufacturer down in Leeds. And Leeds it was called BOP, Oldsmobile, Buick, and another branch.
Pontiac.
Yes, thank you. And so we used to make cars down there. They used to also make tanks at one time. So I thought maybe, I said, well, man, this guy might have been he was getting his cars from there and selling them at a dealership. So those were some of the things that I thought was really important to mention because a lot of our families in Kansas City worked at the automobile plant. So we know somebody who worked at the automobile plant. So, did he?
My son works in Ford.
Wow.
Everybody.
Yeah.
But look, we had somebody that owned, right here in Kansas City, a dealership, he owned it.
Right, so that was, I thought, and it even has a picture of some of the books, the cars in here. Unfortunately, you guys can't see it, but the staff here, they can see. Rickenbacker was $1,500. You know,
That probably was very expensive in 1920, I know that was.
it has a great deal of pictures in it. It says the Oldsmobile was $1,075. So imagine that. So the Hump Mobile, as it was called, it's a big luxury vehicle. And so, hey, this brother had it going on, right? This is great history to go in and delve into. And I talked about one of the one of the most important areas was 18th and Vine. This clearly, the pictures here show that they had a lake of the Paseo at one particular time, and it was located right, you can see St. Stephen's Church in the background here. And it shows the actual lake and people standing around the lake. And I'm not talking about Truce Lake, this was a Paseo Lake. So this is history that I didn't even know. You know, they actually had a lake back in that time. And in that same area, they had it says it has a public bathhouse on Paseo. So we were about our business back then, you know. While they were talking about how savage we were, and things
Never.
but we had a bathhouse, public
Let me
bathhouse.
tell you about,
So-
I don't mean to cut you off,
No,
to
cut
tell
me
you
off.
about a bathhouse.
Okay.
Because when I was in Arkansas, we went to one of the bathhouses, and that was the most relaxing, best, now, you in hot water wouldn't get along, but, but they had the real big porcelain bathtubs, they fill it up with water, they put you in it, and they literally, they just rub you
Right.
down.
Oh,
It's
that's
like,
what that was?
oh,
The bathhouse?
yes,
Oh.
yes,
Yeah.
and then I moved from that to like a little, area where you cool off, then they move you to like a steam, where you sit and they steam your body, and then you sit and then steam your bottom half. When you get finished with all of that, you take a cool shower and then you end it with a massage.
I was gonna say, that's a modern day, something, massage.
Yes.
They start, put you in the pool first or the sauna and all.
Yes, but it was like one of, because, it's like, the area is like, has this a row of just bathhouses, like a whole row of bathhouses. You can just, and it's like one side is women, one side is men. And I was like, I could do this every day.
Okay.
It's funny that you said that, because when you said hot water, we were gonna go to the springs and do it, and everything came up as a bathhouse. And like you said, I'm allergic, so it's like, we can't do it. But it literally says in his book,
Bathhouse.
Paseo bathhouse.
Right.
It's just a big
They need to bring them back. They need to bring them back.
And you know, that 18th Street area that we're talking about was constantly with performing people from all over the country, all over the world, Count Basie, big time, Mary Parker, all the stars came and gathered at Kansas City in the 18th Street area because they was the bomb at that particular time. So,
Kansas City.
they had hotels there. So this was just.
Remember last year?
history
I'm
that
sorry. We learned about one,
just didn't
I'm
see
sorry.
it. No, go ahead. I
We
know
learned
it's-
about one last year when I was with Tiff.
You know, we went to the Negro League Museum for my birthday,
Okay.
and when we were reading the little cards and stuff, that's when we learned that there was a hotel down there. So when we left, it's just like seeing what's there
Yes.
now, but trying to imagine a
What was,
hotel.
yes.
It's just amazing.
So this tribute to African American history is partially of a historian that we have in Kansas City.
Yes.
This gentleman who preserved his history in this book, he needs to continue to be supported, telling his story, because he's given up history to our people that if we didn't have things like this, it would be lost. You know, like I said, even myself, I didn't know about a bathhouse in 18th, but it goes hand in hand with the type of clientele that 18th Street had. So,
I think they would have taught us that in school because
Why
it's
would they
right
teach
here.
us
Really?
But it's here.
Yeah.
And
But we did have, like, I would have to say in elementary school, we did have teachers that taught us some like history. I think they taught us what they knew. Right. I believe they taught us what they knew. Because they were big on us being prideful of who we were, you know, so all of the stuff that they do in schools now, yeah, you couldn't have done that with Miss Bush and Miss Strong or Mr. Montgomery. Or,
Oh,
yeah, no,
all of
you
them.
couldn't have,
We got knocked out and we should have spanked them.
so it's sort of education.
I don't, we're gonna cover a little area in this, we'll never be able to cover what
Never.
the gentleman has in this book, but here it shows a picture of Madam C.J. Walker's School of Beauty Culture. We have
Yes.
the women in their garb, dressed in all white, graduation, just really a beautiful sight to see. We've heard of Madam C.J. Walker, but this is actually her and her business. So trying to keep moving on the pace. I had marked out some areas in the book that I thought that he was going to be able to help us define. This is a famous intersection of 18th and Vine. You really have to see these pictures to see what's going on, because they have some areas and some businesses here. Even show where the streetcar was moving up and down this area. If you move in the book, you see.
It was.
Yeah.
Because before there were cars, there were just street cars. You know?
Right,
So
right.
yeah, they were.
And
That's why they building, looking for those tracks again.
on the corner, 18th Vine, if you, most of us know, the Lincoln Building used to sit on that corner. There was a store called Mad Laws. It was a clothing store. Later on, Penner's moved up that way, but Mad Laws was there. We have some of the places called Fox Pharmacies, Thomas's Pier. I mean, just
Could I stop you just for a minute?
absolutely.
And I have to give a shout out to, tell me my company name, so I won't say the wrong name. Because we started in the Lincoln Building.
B&B.
Darnell and John, thank you, when we first started our podcast. But when he said it, I'm like, you think about that connection. Look, BSB.
Radio.
That's just where we started, in the Lincoln Building.
We
But
did,
you never,
with the
I didn't think
podcast.
about the historical aspect
No.
of that building, you know, but, okay, yes.
Yeah, there's even pictures shown where they used to have the minstrel shows at the music hall, municipal auditorium. It's funny if you see the characters in here, but this is
Black
just,
faces.
yeah, the black people. It's just important to see. It talks about the NAACP meetings, mass meetings at certain places in 1921. So we stayed organized. We were organized back then, you know. Go ahead and read that.
Paseo Dancing Academy.
Located at 15th Paseo. It says open, colored dance fans. A big carnival dance, Sunday night, March the 23rd. So it says Moulton's Kansas City Orchestra. We heard of Benny Moulton. I believe that's who they're relating this to. Talks about some more. I got some places here I marked out I wanted to talk to.
And while you're looking for that, I just wanted to ask, do you think, because like Alicia asked, why didn't they teach us that when it's right here in Kansas City? From the way that we see things now, we know things revolve over the years. Do you think that they tried to erase that history? I mean, you look at how we had to fight for them to maintain that house on 12th Street. You had to fight for that. And it's like everything that is some type of history towards African Americans, they're trying to,
Yes.
like they tore down the Blankenship building.
Yes.
That was a historical place. And quietly,
I
They tore it
actually was a student at the Blankenship.
yeah. And
I
I
went to
think
cosmetology school.
but
at the
some
Blankenship
people
building.
don't know that that was considered a historical.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can see, back then when we were growing up, there were many more businesses down on 18th and Vine, because Juneteenth used to be, like it was a place to go during that time. And it was free, and there was musicians on every corner, food, all kind of that. Not like what it is now on the strip of the sale right there, fenced in.
Yeah. At least they're trying to keep it going, because
Yeah,
that's a big part of it too. With keeping those connections to our history alive and
See,
thriving, so.
people only know about that.
At least
Right,
they're
Look at
right.
that
Keeping it
barbecue
going.
king.
Yeah, it's got a couple
Anything
places
here?
right here. It's got here. It says,
Henry Perry.
let me see.
Sorry.
Yeah. You heard of him, huh?
Yeah.
You can't tell him?
No, I just know the story about Henry Perry because he was, the barbecue king here, and Gates and Arthur Bryant's, it's the same recipe.
Mm-hmm.
The difference is the sauce.
Okay.
Okay.
They knew how to barbecue. Can't say people knew how to barbecue.
They knew how to
What
barbecue.
changed?
It's the sauce.
It's the sauce.
Gates wanted a wet sauce.
Mm-hmm. Perry,
Arthur Bryant's wanted a dry rub.
Okay.
That's the difference.
Okay.
The only difference.
That's interesting. Only Kansas City's would know that history.
Yes.
You know, because everybody in Kansas City believes they can barbecue.
Everybody.
Everybody. So that's good history. That's
So the
good
father
knowledge.
of the barbecue,
Yeah.
Henry Perry.
Well, that's good information. So, the book is loaded. Some came in as a conversation while we were talking, how Mr. Gibson was telling me about, he showed me a picture of the stadium on 18th Street. And Satchel Paige, he talked about Satchel Paige in his prime. Here's a picture of Satchel Paige sitting on a very expensive looking car. It says Satchel Paige was 34 and playing for the Black Yankees. He was rich enough to own his own new shiny Packard. Right? And then when you see the pictures of 18th Street here, it said the fleet of for sale cabs. And it's showing the cabs all up and down 18th Street. And so this book and information is so important to have. And so, like I said, it even showed a picture of the first black hospital in Kansas City, which was, it wasn't Providence. It had another name.
Was it
No, no, it's Providence. It's Providence. It was on the same area down the street from in the plantation area, and it's still on 18th Street right now. They had a group of people, business people, who bought the building and tried to preserve the people, preserve the business. So if you bought this book, you get lost. You get lost in the book. Let me move right along and show. To up to date, a little up to date, it shows a picture of the McFadden brothers in this book. And then most of us know the McFadden brothers. One of them passed away not too long ago. May God have mercy on his soul. He was a very nice man. I think about him all the time because we had a very close, good relationship.
Chloe McFadden, his daughter,
You know,
She's
really?
the daughter of, whichever one is still alive.
Ronnie, I think it's
Lonnie.
It's
That's
Lonnie.
his daughter.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because he had a
Studio.
restaurant downtown. I can't remember the name of it.
Yeah, he would play, you talking about Lonnie. You talking about Lonnie, yeah.
Mhm.
He would play there every now and then, but he and Ronnie were in Vegas for a while. They were in Vegas, and of course, Kansas City being their home, they would come back, and they would play on 18th Street. They would be down on 18th Street. I'm sure most people here in Kansas City knew Lonnie and Ronnie, the McFadden brothers. And I was blessed to be his father and see how they had their work ethic. They were really polished and sharp musicians. They could dance, sing, and play musicians. They were a triple threat. They were very, very talented.
Wow.
So in this book here, he has a large jazz section that goes back to talk about people like, let me see, Jack McDuff. These are jazz musicians. The great Count Basie. He pictures of Count Basie here. And they were all in special Kansas City jazz concert in the areas. I mean, pictures just everywhere of Kansas City and business in Kansas City. The gentleman, Mr. Gibson, did a really good job. Like I said, I don't give it justice as I should, but I'm going to continue to see. He had pictures of, here's Billie Holiday, who was here in November at the Municipal Auditorium. You know, being at the Municipal, that's a nice place to be, and it probably was packed with Billy there, you know. So let's see what else he has pictures of. As it says here, Kansas City Jazz Mecca. It talks about some of the artists that comes here. And of course, and the people were sharp. When they was dressed.
Oh, yeah.
You know, they dressed hat scarves, pocket handkerchiefs, belts, suspenders, spats. And women were wearing fur coats and draped. I mean, it was an event to go out just to see black people at that time. So this was called the Auditorium Theater, 9th and Holmes Street. So these are places, business that was up and down in the area where black people were. We just didn't know it. So the brother did a good job of preserving this history. What else is here? In fact, I don't know if you guys know these gentlemen. They called Lukman, Aladdin, and Sonny Kenner. These were 3 jazz musicians that I personally met myself. They were so nice that I seen them out one day. Me and my brother Kenya, we asked them, hey, my mother, we knew she liked music. They came over to the front yard and played a session for about 2 hours. And the whole neighborhood came out. They was like, these are professional guys that were known around the world. Lukman Hamza used to sing and play piano down on 18th Street. And Sonny Kenner was world-renowned jazz guitarist. And so this is what kind of city, this is what kind of talent that we had here in Kansas City. It was phenomenal. Here's in his book, he has a tribute to Bird. And this was in New York. It says New York, New York, March the 3rd, 1956. It has been a year since Charlie Bird Parker died. So this is just people that constantly visited Kansas City. Musicians was a great place to come in Kansas City. And hopefully they'll find their way back here one day. This is showing some pictures of Kansas City. Just fabulous, fabulous pictures where Kansas City was busy. It was a hub. It was really a busy place to be at. So let's see. We have something for the ladies here. It says theater beauty, new state. So it's talking about a charm school instructor here in Kansas City. So you imagine they had a charm school for our sisters. Look at they was posted up too. Nice. Top models. These are top models here. So what else do we have? I wish, let's see, and don't forget the sports. And so it says renowned coach Harvey Jacobs with one of his family basketball teams. His family says familiar, that's a family. Yeah, with one of his mini basketball teams. So
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Jack was.
oh yeah.
That's that central history.
Yeah.
Look at here, it says Muddy Waters and his orchestra. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, October the 5th, 4th, and 6th, East Town Ballroom. And that's on 31st in Indiana. And I don't know, some of us remember, they used to, Gates used to have a barbecue place up on 35th Street, right on 35th and Linwood, and was that Linwood? Linwood and 31st Street. Of course, it's not there now, but it used to be a place called OG's. Used to have a barbecue place.
El Capitan was in there too.
Yeah.
It was. I saw it. I was like, that's a historical thing. Big Clement, I know I wasn't old enough to Clement, but I remember it.
But you know what else? I remember Mooney's and the Blue Room.
And the
Yeah.
blue room's still there.
Yes.
But I was surprised when I saw El Capitan. And then I
And a
said,
lot of people don't know that where the grocery store is on 31st in Prospect, where the Old Country Mart, which was, Sunfresh, that's where General Hospital used to be.
Yeah,
That's
right.
where I was
Oh, yeah.
born.
You're right.
That's why I
You're
was born,
absolutely
yeah,
right.
General
You're
Hospital.
right. It was a hospital. Matter of fact, they had a section in Kansas City called Hospital Hills, where there was
I remember that.
several hospitals. Used to be a hospital on 23rd and right, let's see, going up 23rd, Indiana, going up the hill toward Benton. There was a hospital off to where Bendale Hall was. There was a hospital called Queen of the World. And a lot of black people were born in that hospital. Yeah.
That's so much history. Oh my goodness.
We were just looking at the history of Majesty of Mahalia Jackson. My mother loved Mahalia Jackson. Most of our mothers loved her. And this was a Niles Home orphanage, benefit to Niles Home that we're here today. And she was here at the Municipal Auditorium. So Kansas City, as we talked about, was a great hub for everything basically, because we had history here and historical people.
And even thinking about Lincoln, because a lot of us educators, was a school for black people.
Yeah, I didn't want to miss that because it talked about J.C. Cole, which was one of the first black schools in Kansas City
It
as
was
well.
Lincoln was the first, right?
Yeah, that's it.
Lincoln was the first.
Urban school changed to Booker T. Washington School in 1942, located at 24th and Prospect. So, history, it has some
And
pictures.
it's funny, because driving down Prospect and just saw that picture, the school,
Right.
It's like, I can't picture that
Where
right
they're
there.
big, yeah.
Right. Here's one of, I think most everybody know this gentleman, Rex Perfor. He's a photographer.
Oh, that's the guy with
Yeah.
the long hair.
Yeah, and he wears the cowboy outfits, but we
Is
have.
that him? right
That's
there?
him. Yeah,
Oh,
we have a
okay.
picture of Rex and Gene Autry, who was a cowboy himself. What a great
Yeah,
white
very
cowboy,
good.
Gene Autry. So we know Rex was probably one of the first black cowboys. So we never know. It says that one of the areas most severely hit last night's tornadic windstorm was the Negro District, lying between 33rd and 37th Street, from Denver to Raytown. And most of us remember that storm that it was out in Ruskin. I
Yeah.
think it hit Ruskin School. So,
The rescue tornado.
so history again. So,
You said from Denver Street to Raytown on that one?
So that's back there like by Leeds and back that way.
I think that might have been the one that my mom talked about, because I remember my mom used to talk about a tornado,
Yeah.
and
It's
it
so
sounded like a
funny.
train. I remember she used to say that sounded like a train.
The wooden
Yeah, we just talked about the hospital she was born in, and here's the picture there. I remember that hospital, right there on that corner there, right there.
Well, so much valuable information, and we want to thank the historian Sonny Gibson for even curating all of this history. And again, if you want
The cover.
information, want to try to get the
The
book,
cover is just pretty.
the
I
cover,
really like
it
the
is,
cover.
it's historical pictures on the cover. If you're interested in getting the book, you can reach out to us, drop it in the chat, and we will follow up with Jamal, you can follow up with Mr. Gibson. But such a wealth of information, just about our own city,
And that's why
Black history.
Black history, and that's why it's important for people to not limit themselves to 1 month.
That is so true.
Look at
Yes.
this, we can repeat right
It
there.
says, Monster Midnight Show, sponsored by the Young Negroes, Heart of America Democratic Club. Saturday night, July the 30th, 11:30 p.m. New Central Theater, entertainment by Kansas City's best talent, high class show. Admission, 25 cents.
Only if. You can buy a car for
$1,500.
Yes.
There's a good car, a new
Yes.
car, look, brand new.
yeah.
Brand new, off the showroom floor.
Wow.
But like we were saying, what is that?
That's the old building, Kansas City General Hospital, number 2.
Oh,
Is it
okay.
Yep, that's what it talks about, yep.
But that's, like we were saying, that's why it's important for people. If you want to know your history, you basically have to do your own footwork. Because as we know now, they are trying to cover it up. But it doesn't have to be in other states to get your history. There's a lot of rich history here.
Yes.
Yes, it is.
And just like the picture I put out there when I did our marketing, I was unaware that was the first, as you said, the first black town in Missouri.
Yeah.
And it was located near outside of St. Louis.
Wow.
So-
I said, look at them. I was excited. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, but I was excited too because I didn't know that. That's history I didn't know, you know?
Yeah.
So it's a lot of history, a lot of things that African Americans that have done that we just don't know.
Yes.
And if you're interested, indulge in it,
Yeah.
you know, learn it.
Look, can I go one? Go
I'd like
ahead.
to say one more thing, the call paper.
Oh, yes.
Can't forget about the call paper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm shut up, and I know we got your.
Oh, no, I'm not doing
Okay.
history, but I did, like Charlie Parker, a renowned saxophonist. And then I wanted to kind of look up some people that we haven't heard. I might say the name wrong. Hiram Revels, born 1820, fought at the Battle of Vicksburg and served as a chaplain for the Union Army.
Wow,
Lucille Lufer,
okay.
you know, that's history.
Library of Congress.
The library. Andrew Foster, an stout businessman that founded the Negro National League in 1920. Buck O'Neill.
Yeah.
You know, all that history is here. It is.
It is.
You mentioned Buffalo, I have to mention, I don't know if you marked that at all in there, Jamal, but that, the YMCA,
Oh,
yeah, it was, he learned something about someone helped the city, the Negroes, the black people.
The Jewish community, gave $30,000 to buy it, and they told the black community in 10 days came up with 50, and then
Right.
the white community came up with the rest. And so in a matter of 20 or something days, they have secured the YMCA. And so
Right.
that was showing that people had unity at that time.
No, I love that.
Here's something for, just as in regards to this store that Matt Laws, most of us heard of Matt Laws down on 18th Street, but it says it invites you to attend its emancipation sale. Shirts $1 up, slacks $2.95, shoes $3.50 up, hats $1.95, fingertip coats $5.95. You don't want to mess with no finger. You talking about fingertip coats? Wow. It's a type of leather that it feels so soft. They say fingertip, but it's a nice leather coat that you just don't buy everywhere. It says fingertip coat. Sweaters $1 up, jackets $2.95. A complete line of furnishing and accessories at a great savings. 18th and Vine. Wow. So, times were good for us at one time. We may not have thought, so I didn't want to live back in the time, but hey, they weren't doing bad at all.
They really wasn't. In our own little communities.
In our own communities.
In our communities, we
Yes.
were doing good.
As long as they
That's
left us
why
alone.
they got rid of,
Mhm.
Tulsa.
Yeah.
And all the other
And-
places that a lot of people don't know.
Right.
Central Park was a whole black town.
It sure was.
Right.
In New York, Central Park. That one y'all run around and
Yes.
it was a whole black town.
Yeah.
While they did it strategic, like I said, this is one reason why they did it here strategically. Other cities, they bombed them out, they brought in the police, they did this, they did that, which was a physical threat. But here, as we can see, they manipulated it with a strategy, like the red line,
Yeah.
and use city ordinances and things like that. But black people had something going on for themselves here, obviously. So,
And they just did it again with the 71.
yeah.
71 did not have to come to
Right.
where it is.
Right.
But then, that's all over. I'm
Right,
sorry.
right.
It's in all cities, they tearing up the black communities with highways.
We just discussed this past week, that 71 was supposed to go to the plaza area.
Mhm.
They moved it, and then someone decided to say, while they was coming through 71, let's make stops for 71 so that they would intrigue us with businesses so we can get off. That never happened, and then we found out that the automobile and the low area that it moves in gives us all kind of stresses, like asthma, which is one of the number 2 killings, one of the number 2 killings of us, because of the emissions from the automobile.
Yeah.
So these were things that people say were not, they were playing.
Yeah, I think so.
Keep us at the doctor, keep us sick, keep us from growing, keep us from spiritually, mentally, physically growing. So these are the things, this is one of the good things about having history.
Exactly. Why it's so important for, as Tiffany said, do your own footwork, research, read a book, go online. Like Jamal said earlier, you can look now online and get your information. You do not have to just settle for what's not being taught. You can look now. And I'm just so excited and inspired. And we will continue to give you our Black History moments on our show so that we can continue to let you know about our rich history that we have, that we continue to contribute, not just here, but all over the world, as a people. And on that note, look, because it's been so great, we're going straight through. I do have to say thank you.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
Thank you to Sonny Gibson for writing and curating all of that rich history. Again, if you are interested in getting that book, reach out to us, and we will definitely let Mr. Gibson know. So we can get it. But I'm not sure the cost. He can tell y'all that.
$35.
Oh, it's $35. That's
It's
not
a
bad for
great
all
buy.
that. Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
it's a great buy. That is
Okay.
a whole lot more.
Yes. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Don't forget, Subscribe, like, share.
Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok.
Hey, we do not own the rights to this song, which I know we love it.
And be kind. Just be kind.
Be kind. A lot of great wisdom today. Thank you.
Black History Month, like a t-shirt.
Yeah.